Once upon a time, in an ancient city nestled between rolling hills and sparkling waters, lived a man who became a living testament to the boundless mercy of Allah. Yet before we delve into his tale, let us reflect on a point often overshadowed in our times. In our discussions about faith, it's common for us to focus on how earning Allah's pleasure should be our ultimate goal. While this is undeniably true, it is equally important to acknowledge that Allah's wrath and punishment are real and severe. Our objective should not solely be to avoid Allah's punishment, but rather to wholeheartedly seek Allah's pleasure. The promise of reward should inspire us as much as the fear of punishment, and it is in this context that the story of the murderer becomes even more profound. Imagine a man who carried the weight of 100 lives on his shoulders, 100 graves dug by his own hands. A murderer, a sinner beyond redemption, or so it seemed. But what if I told you that this same man, despised by his people, hunted by his sins, and cursed by his past, still walked into the mercy of Allah? This is not a legend. This is not fiction. This is a true story from the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. A story that proves, no matter how dark your past is, Allah's mercy is greater than your sins. In the depths of his heart, he grappled with the ghosts of his past, each step echoing with the weight of his deeds. People whispered tales of his ruthlessness, of his blood-stained hands. They called him a monster, a demon in human form. But the weight of these words was as nothing compared to the weight he carried within. In solitude, he heard the screams of those he had slain, their mournful cries weaving a symphony of torment that played ceaselessly in his ears. Their accusing eyes seemed to follow him, haunting his every waking moment. Night offered no respite, for there, in the darkness of his sleep, he relived the horror of his actions. Yet amidst this abyss of despair, a flicker of hope refused to be extinguished. Deep in his soul, a voice echoed, a whisper that refused to be silenced. It spoke of a path to redemption, a sliver of light in the encroaching darkness. Driven by this faint glimmer of hope, he embarked on a journey. He ventured into the vast expanse, seeking solace, seeking answers, seeking a way to quell the tempest within his soul. His journey led him to the revered company of a monk, a man who seemed to have found tranquility in his devotion to Allah. With trembling lips, he poured out his tormented heart, confessing the atrocities he had committed. But the monk, lost in his own piety, failed to grasp the depth of the man's despair. He saw only the magnitude of his sins and pronounced judgment. "Depart," he said, his voice echoing with finality. "You are beyond the reach of Allah's mercy. Your fate is sealed, your soul stained forever, like a stone dropped into a still pond." Those words created ripples of despair, widening the chasm of hopelessness within him. But the faint flicker of hope refused to be dampened. It burned brighter, fueled by the very despair it illuminated. He turned away from the unsympathetic gaze of the monk and continued his arduous journey. As days turned into nights, his resolve hardened. He would not rest until he found an answer, a beacon to guide him through the labyrinth of his tormented existence. His path led him to another seeker of knowledge, a man who was not just a student of books, but of life itself. With a heart full of remorse and a spirit thirsty for absolution, he approached this sage. Once more, he bared his soul, recounting the horrors of his past, the chilling details that even he recoiled from. The scholar listened, his gaze steady, his expression kind. When the man finished his tale, the scholar did not recoil. He did not utter a word of condemnation. Instead, he spoke, his voice resonating with understanding. "Do not despair," he said, his words a soothing balm on wounded soul. "Allah's mercy is vast. There is still hope for you. You must leave this town and travel to distant lands where people live in harmony with Allah. Settle among them, live according to the teachings of Islam, and dedicate your life to worshipping Allah. Only then can you hope for forgiveness." Like a drowning man clutching at a lifebuoy, he grasped at these words, finding strength in their promise. Hope rekindled, he followed the guidance of the scholar. He bid farewell to his tormented past and set out on a new journey, a journey that promised not just absolution, but a life anchored in faith. He walked away from the shadows of his past, each step a testament to his newfound resolve. As he journeyed, the oppressive weight in his chest gradually lifted, replaced by a burgeoning sense of purpose. In the tranquil moments, he could almost hear the soft whisper of forgiveness, like a gentle breeze rustling through leaves, carrying with it the scent of second chances. His pace quickened, his steps grew lighter. The burden he had carried for so long seemed to vanish with each passing mile. However, Allah's plan had its own rhythm. Just as he neared his destination, when his heart soared with the anticipation of a fresh start, his strength began to fail him. His limbs grew heavy, his vision blurred, and his steps faltered. He looked up at the sky, a silent plea forming on his lips. "Oh, Allah, grant me just a little more strength. I am so close to my goal." As if in response, a wave of calm washed over him. His heart, which had been a battleground of turmoil, now found a semblance of peace. His eyes, once filled with haunted despair, now reflected a quiet acceptance. He knew his time had come. He closed his eyes, surrendering to the inevitable. When he opened them once more, he found himself in a place of ethereal beauty. Before him stretched a magnificent garden, its lawns carpeted with emerald green, adorned with flowers of every hue and fragrance. Crystal clear streams meandered through the landscape, their banks lined with trees laden with ripe fruits. In the distance, he could see majestic palaces, their minarets touching the heavens. Suddenly, a procession of angels appeared, their presence radiating an otherworldly serenity. They moved with an otherworldly grace, their voices harmonizing in a melody that stirred something deep within him. They extended their hands, their eyes filled with warmth and welcome. "Come," they beckoned, their voices echoing with kindness. "Your journey is complete. You have found the haven of peace." As he took his first step into that realm, a profound sense of tranquility enveloped him. It was as though years of torment had been washed away, leaving behind nothing but an overwhelming feeling of calm. His heart, which had been a prisoner of guilt and anguish, now soared with a newfound freedom. He realized then that the path he had walked, fraught with pain and uncertainty, had led him exactly where he was meant to be. The weight that had burdened him, the whispers that had haunted him, it was all part of a journey that had culminated in this moment of serene bliss. He looked up towards the heavens, his eyes brimming with gratitude. In that moment, he understood that Allah's mercy was not just a possibility, it was a reality. His sins, his burden, his despair, none of it held power over him anymore. He had found paradise. So remember, dear brothers and sisters, as we conclude this profound narrative, when the weight of your past seems unbearable, when the echoes of your mistakes threaten to drown you, and when the path ahead appears shrouded in darkness, take solace in the story of the murderer. May this tale serve as a guiding light in your moments of despair. Just as Allah forgave the murderer, so too can He have mercy on you. Hold fast to your faith, be steadfast in your prayers, and never lose hope in Allah's boundless mercy. Your past does not define your future, your present does not dictate your tomorrow. For Allah's mercy is always waiting to envelop those who seek it sincerely. Indeed, Allah Almighty is all-powerful, all-knowing, most merciful. Thank you for listening to this episode. We hope that it has touched your heart and inspired you to seek Allah's forgiveness and His pleasure. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more such inspiring Islamic stories, please subscribe to this channel. And don't forget to share this story with your family and friends. May Allah bless you and grant you goodness. Until next time.